I think we have a little bit of urgency on this. Let's talk about density. Other people have talked about it's too big, there's too much, it's 5 pounds into a 1 pound bag, or whatever, all of that. Density exacerbates the traffic flow situation. It creates congestion, creates accidents, vehicle to vehicle, pedestrian or whatever. And so my sense is that we should do everything that we can to reduce the density. And it shouldn't be just a little bit, it should be a lot on this site. The elephant in the room is, I took some notes, the applicant talking yesterday, because I think in an effort to make us understand what this density is on their site and to understand how it relates to other projects. Again, I was scribbling and taking my notes as fast as I could, but the applicant made some useful comparisons, and I'll read it into the record, but I'll also preface it by saying I'm not sure these are right, because the best I could do as I was trying to take my notes. The capital project has a density of about 74,000 square feet of building per acre, 74,000 square feet. So roughly it's about twice, I think an acre is still 44,000 square feet. So you're in the range of twice a 2-story building covering the entire site is what that means. The collection office building over at the town center has a coverage factor of 76,000 square feet per acre. I don't know if that includes the parking or not, the surface parking to the west. Brookwood has 82,000 square feet per acre. And again, I'm not quite sure what it includes or excludes. And Allure, I'm not sure I have this right at all, Allure has 118,000 square feet per acre. That's really up there. And I think the point that the applicant was trying to make is that the capital doesn't look so bad when compared to these other high density. And maybe it doesn't. So what's going to happen, what I did is I tried to look at the Kenwood Road corridor and I got my crystal ball out. You know I'm retired, but I do still have my crystal ball. And so I dusted it off and I discovered that there are 10 sites in the Kenwood Road corridor that I have potential for high density development. I'll go through them very quickly. Does this thing have a pointer on it? Yes. Where am I getting it?
Yeah, it's up there.
It's up there.
Oh, in addition to other things, I'm partially colorblind. Okay, so that's area 1. That's up on Kugler Mill. It was previously single-family homes. It's related to the Tri-Health development, and I believe that when it's developed, it'll have medical office buildings or something that's compatible with Tri-Health, and it'll have access into Galbraith Road. Area number 2 is a small development that's partially developed by an office building, and I think another office building will probably go there. Number 3 is the hospital. I believe that the hospital will expand, and so we're there. Area 4 is the corner of the town center, and is presently occupied by a detention basin and some parking and things like that, but it's very valuable land, and it's probably going to be developed in some fashion with frontage on Kenwood Road. Area number 5 is the capital project. Area number 6 is a collection of existing small businesses. It's a perfect example of mixed use, low intensity. They're basically houses that have been converted to offices. Area number 7 is what I call the Taco Bell site, for lack of anything else. It is about 8 acres. It's a little bit larger than the capital site up here, and I assume that it would develop at about the same intensity as the capital site. Excuse me. Area 9 is the strip center along Kenwood Road between I-71, which is right here. This is St. Vincent's Church, and property is valuable, but it's under some stress now because of the median. So something's gonna happen to that. It'll either turn back into the Sycamore Center here, which is area number 10. And again, I'm assuming that, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is 10 up here. Yeah, anyway. Is that 11?
8.
I'm sorry, it was 8. Yeah, I got out of order. I'm sorry. So 8 is some redevelopment and expansion will probably occur here, and 9 is the strip center here, and then 10 is the Kenwood Town Center. Now, why would the Kenwood Town Center expand? I don't know, I'm not a retail guy, but I've been told by several people who are retail people that the shopping centers across the country are in big trouble. They talked about that a little bit last night, and that we're getting a luxury wing in the town center, and everybody hopes that it works. And that Amazon and everybody else backs off a little bit. So, those are the 10 areas. So like any good traffic engineer, I said, well, what are they likely to generate in terms of traffic? Now, you're not gonna be able to read this. Hopefully you'll be able to handle it on the thing I passed out here. But I made an estimate of the area of each of these sites. We know Capitals, we know Taco Bell is about 8 acres and so on. The township already owns some of the property, the Taco Bell, I believe. And I assumed equivalent densities for these sites as it will be, as it proposed the capital site, which is about 70, I think I used 75,000 square feet per acre on that, not including the garages. And I was able to estimate the average daily traffic that would be generated by these 10 sites if by some miracle they were all developed in 15 or 20 years. Who knows? But it's a benchmark. And it's hopefully will create some discussion at the township level about what we can do and how, and that it is urgent that we proceed. These 10 areas represent something over, a little over 2.5 million square feet of space, which isn't really all that much, but it's a lot. And this 2.5 million square feet of space will generate about 47,000 cars on an average weekday. Not every one of them are gonna go through Montgomery and Kenwood, but they're all gonna be on I-71 at some time, North Kenwood Road, Galbraith Road, Montgomery, and all that. And it's really kind of scary that this is a number that has some credibility. I don't think it'll happen, but it certainly is a benchmark and something to make us think. And this makes us think too. Look at that. I mean, that is really big, and it's probably going to turn out to be, if it's approved, it will turn out to be a pretty good project for the owner. But I honestly believe it will not be a good project for Sycamore Township, and that it will be the tip of the iceberg, or it will be the first tsunami wave to wash up on the beach. Because if we approve this site at this density, I can almost be certain that the next development that comes in is gonna ask for the same density, and that's the Taco Bell site. You all know Cooper just went through a pretty exhausting rezoning process up here on Kenwood Road, just north of Galbraith. Well, they have 3 acres, and they put in what, a 30,000 square foot office building, and it was a struggle. You know what they could put there with the equivalent density of capital? 3 times 75,000. It's over 200,000 square feet of office space on that site. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't think the density makes a lot of sense here either, except if you own it and you're creating revenue and profit for yourself. The capital plan, in my view, and I think in a lot of people's view, should be denied as submitted, but that fundamental and major revisions are in order. And of course, the trustees have full authority to require those fundamental changes in the site plan as a condition of approval, along with other conditions that I'm sure you're already thinking about. I'm gonna say this, and I think other people say the same thing, that we urge the capital investment group to downsize and decrease the density of the site plan, and especially the capital site should conform to the 2002, 2008 land use plan and the map. You know, I'm big on transparency and collaboration. I think that one of the problems with this is that in a sense, we were all blindsided by this project as it came out of the shadows into the sunshine of public scrutiny. Perhaps we wouldn't be sitting here tonight if a transparent and open process could have been implemented early in the process, and that the stakeholders could have been involved earlier. I'm serious. I really think that the prosperous future of Sycamore Township is at risk here, that we're ready to take a step that there's no going back on, and that will set a precedent. And I think, to use Mr. Connor's phrase one time, when I talked to him about Hosbrook Road, that we are going to create a dangerous precedent, one that will cascade over onto these other properties, large or small. And again, the root cause of all of the negative impacts that we're talking about is the density.